Where do private investigators get their information from? Are there secret databases that private investigators have access to? Is it the PI skill set that makes a difference? Or is it a matter of the databases they have access to? Before I share all the secrets, I want to back up a step and start with the basics. The baseline information that a private investigator is searching for when conducting a typical locate investigation, background check, or asset search is most often found through what are commonly referred to as public records. So what is a public record? Here's one definition of a public record. A public record includes any writing containing information relating to the conduct of government or the performance of any governmental or proprietary function prepared, owned, used, or retained by any state or federal local agency regardless of physical form or characteristics. Here are some examples of public records: a deed to a house, a birth certificate, a criminal court case. Just because these records are defined as public does not mean they are available without restrictions. Beyond public records, there are other types of records and searches that a private investigator might search for and uncover, like limited credit header databases, social media posts, phone directories, vehicle sightings reports, email lists, and other data found on the dark web. An experienced private investigator will know how and where to search for all these types of records and information. The toolbox that each private investigator or private investigation firm possesses can vary greatly. I often find that new investigators will often subscribe to one commercial database and then reach out to other investigators to get assistance on research. The reason being is that in order to set up a robust system of searching, an investigator must spend a good amount of upfront costs along with recurring monthly fees to have access to all the best databases. I'm going to break down the research methodologies into two sections. First, I will discuss the databases and search tools that require a subscription or fee, and then I'll review the free tools. Most of the paid search tools would require proof of a PI license to gain access. The premier commercial databases that many private investigators subscribe to are TLO, IDI, SkipSmasher, Tracers, IRB Search, and Clerk. These databases allow an investigator to search and locate a variety of public records and non-public records through their search system. These databases are really just a conduit to the actual source records and documents that are typically filed and stored at a courthouse or government office. This is why an experienced investigator will not rely on a commercial database solely as the only source of information. They will actually check with an office that houses the records to verify the accuracy of the database search. Many of the court websites that were once available to search remotely for free are now requiring an account and subscription or search credits to conduct searches. Keep in mind that courts that require fees to search civil and criminal cases naturally are blocked for being scraped by commercial databases like TLO, IDI, and Tracers. So this means that if a search is not conducted at the courthouse, a case would be missed. This means that an experienced investigator will know that a search of all county courts where a subject has lived or worked is imperative if you want to find cases that could pertain to your subject. I would add that searching adjacent counties is also a recommended practice to cast a wide net. Next, let's talk about property records. Yes, you can search the county recorder and assessor for free, but you are limited to your search scope. A great tool that I think is worth the money is Corelogic's Realquest product that allows you to search for residential and commercial properties by owner, name, address, or parcel number. This service also allows you to access recorded documents associated with a property like deeds of trust, liens, and quitclaim deeds. The Realquest search covers most counties in the US as well, which is great. When it comes to federal court records, the only way to search is through Pacer, which allows you to search for federal cases, both civil and criminal, as well as bankruptcies. The search costs are very low, but you have to set up an account to gain access. DMV records can be searched through a variety of databases, but the only way to get truly up-to-date and accurate records is run them directly through the DMV in the state where the subject lives or possesses a license. In California, we have a direct account with the DMV and use two partners that can search DMV records in all 50 states. A requester code is required in California to gain access. In order to get a requester code in California, you must be a licensed private investigator, and there are several forms required along with a yearly fee to maintain access. Social media investigations and open source intelligence investigations can be done using a variety of free tools. However, a newer application called Skopenow is a great way to uncover social media profiles and other dark web information on your subjects when you only have a limited amount of identifiers. Skopenow is a paid service that is well worth the cost. If you're doing air searches, Ancestry.com is a good tool to have in your toolbox as well. Okay, let's move on to the free resources. There are still a bunch of court websites that allow you to search and view case information for free. It is important to know how to find those sites, navigate them, and search them properly. You need to understand when the court records started becoming digitized and scanned. This is important because the case you are looking for could be available, but not through the online portal. Always check with the clerks of the court to find out how far back research can be done online versus in person. If you find an old case, keep in mind that the case file might have been destroyed, but the docket information could still be available. The Secretary of State or Department of Corporations in each state is an invaluable resource. This is the agency or agencies where companies file their corporate records. Corporate records are a very valuable source of information for investigators. In some states, you can identify owners, members, managers, and executives of companies for free by searching corporate records. Every state has different rules on what they make available, and I always suggest calling the agencies directly to see what information can be available online versus over the phone or in person. As I mentioned earlier, county recorder and county assessors are often available to search remotely and free if you have a name, parcel number, address. Remember that the county clerk recorder is also an important office to be familiar with because they house many records that are included but not limited to the following: real estate documents, vital records, which include marriage licenses, birth certificates, and death records. They also handle fictitious business name filings and other certifications and professional registrations. Google. Google is a great tool, but you need to use advanced search strategies on Google using Boolean. I would also add that a clean browser that is not tied to your personal Gmail account is also a great way to limit the targeted information that is often served up based on your location and account profile. Using a private browser like DuckDuckGo or a VPN are also recommended. Social media research and open source intelligence gathering can be done for free, assuming you know how to effectively search all of the available social media platforms and you're skilled in identifying profiles based on the information you have. Now, I've outlined many free and paid searches. I'm sure I've left out a few tricks of the trade, so please comment below if I missed anything. I think that a good investigator always works to verify research through source documents, interviews with sources, and discreet contact with subjects. If you have any other questions about how private investigators get their hands on information, please let me know. Thanks.